Willard, you're very involved with the jazz community in D.C. and your productions in New York. Who are the people who are listening to jazz radio from your perspective?
Who are the people who are listening to jazz radio?
Yeah.
That's always a good question, and that's a question that I think Thurston has taken a great deal more time, given the nature of his radio station, in researching. We are research poor at my particular radio station, and that's partly because we are a large radio station to a certain extent, but we only have 6 full-time paid employees at our station, and that's minuscule by comparison to some of my colleagues here. But you know, so it's always difficult to say exactly who is the listener. You know, from my standpoint, because we don't have that kind of research, unfortunately. We have not gone out and done that kind of research in terms of who is our jazz listener. But I do want to go back to what your previous point and what Linda was saying, and that is, I've always advocated that since we are the jazz outlet in the Washington metro area, we should do all that we can to have ownership of any activity in our community from a jazz perspective. And we are fortunate in that we have, I would hazard a guess that in terms of jazz activity, of the 4 of us, we're second only to the market that Thurston serves. Okay? and that Thurston lives in. We have a wealth of live jazz activity here in the D.C. market from the Kennedy Center on down. Mm-hmm. So we have no shortage of activities, and it's always been my sense, and unfortunately we've fallen short of this, but it's always been one thing that I've pushed, that we need to own whatever jazz activities come into our community. And by own, I mean we need to have a presence. You know, whether it is on stage, or whether it is in their promotional materials, whether it's in their promotion booklet, or whether we're emceeing the event, whether we're interviewing the artists who are performing on the event, we have to claim some level of ownership for all jazz presentations in our community. Willard, not that we necessarily have, but we ought to.
Thurston, you're the man with the statistics. Any demographics, any data at all on who the audience is for jazz radio?
Well, it's a variety of people. You know, I mean, it's an older audience. Depending on BGO, depending on the survey period, there may be more African Americans than other. Other is how the folks in Arbitron, Nielsen land, that means that they're not Hispanic or black, they're other. There seems to be a back and forth, predominantly men and women. Again, for us, it bounced back and forth when it came to that. One of the things, keeping it with Willard, and hopefully this will help, because you don't always have to spend a lot of money. One of the things that we created, and I created it as a tune-in event on radio, and we call it the Thanksgiving Jazz Parade. And I told Gary Walker, the music director, create a ballot, create all the instruments, and put 10, 12 artists under each instrument. And then we promoted the crap out of it for 2 to 3 weeks. Go online and vote for your favorite trumpet player, your favorite drummer, whatever. Once that was done, he then gathered that and sequenced from the least to the most favorite of the artists in this. Then he scheduled, starting on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving through the Sunday after Thanksgiving, he scheduled it so that we could tell folks, here are your favorite musicians. And in doing so, you empower your own listeners. They feel as if they have a part of it. I did it as a tune-in thing so that over the Thanksgiving vacation or holiday, people would tune in more. But by the time we got 450 people voting, it became somewhat of a valid survey. And that's a cheap survey that you can do that way. Any of those things. The thing that I had fun with, and I hope that I continue having fun, is create and have an imagination. Have fun with it. Sell it. Make your audience feel special.